Into it. Hey, welcome to the first episode of Cuck Patrol. I am, of course, Cuck number one, also known as Isaiah.
And I am Cuck number two, also known as Gavin Warfield.
Yes.
So with that, let's just jump into this.
So we thought we'd break the ice with a pretty easy subject to get into. COVID-19. Why not? So we've all
Very easy
had different
subject. Very,
experiences.
very,
It's a very small subject, right? At the time, at this moment, not a lot of people are talking
of
about it.
course.
But anyways, both Gavin and I have had some different experiences. Gavin caught it a while ago, and I have it currently kind of right now. Gavin, you want to hit him with your take?
Yeah, sure. So basically, let's say I think back in around my whole experience started in around July/August. What had happened was to start out the whole sequence of events. My uncle had caught it from his work, and then my grandma had caught it, and then my mom and dad had caught it, and this took place over around a 2 to 3 week period, and I had still not had it. I had not shown any symptoms. I was completely fine, and my grandma was starting to feel better at the time that my mom and dad got sick, and I was trying to quarantine in my room. And I thought to myself, hey, my grandma's feeling better, so I'm just gonna go out and live with her until this is all like blown over.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out and did that, and then like a week later, I caught COVID. Um,
Nice, nice.
my experience with it was I had relatively mild symptoms. I had, the typical stuff. I had fever, headaches, sore throat, loss of smell, loss of taste, um, which is all fun and great. I do want to make a point, deviate from the story a little bit, that COVID, we're this show aims to please an audience and to be, a comedic show. But I do want to make a serious point, just full stop,
Yeah,
that the COVID pandemic is something to be taken seriously. Um,
yeah. Just
and
because two guys who catch it who are in relatively good shape and have, no withstanding health problems, we can take it. But like some people who aren't as fortunate as us, or older or younger, who catch it, it can be a real serious problem. So yeah,
and people have died, like around, I
right. A lot
believe
of people, yeah,
at least 200,000 people in this country have died from COVID.
right.
Um, Not to get political, but whether that's the government's fault or whoever, that I'm not here to make a debate on that. But I will say that what isn't political is wear a mask, use hand sanitizer, social distance if you have it, quarantine, just it's a real thing and it's a serious thing. And if you want to keep those around you safe, then please just be a good person.
No, you know what is funny though? Wearing a mask has become a political standing. You know that? Like,
I know, and I
it's
frankly think it's
crazy. I can't
ridiculous.
believe it. It's people who wear masks are now making a political statement, and that just blows my mind.
It's 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 frankly ridiculous, and I don't see how the politics of it are, the people in it are just delusional.
It's
But
yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Anyways, when I caught it, I think exactly a week and 1 day ago. I had been feeling pretty crummy, and I was like, "Hey, mom, I'm probably not gonna go to school the next day." Sorry, a week and 3 days ago. It was Thursday, and I said, "Mom, I'm probably not gonna go to school tomorrow." And then I stayed home. And my dad was like, "Hey, you should probably get tested." So I got a rapid test, and I was chilling on the couch playing Club Penguin, as one does when they've just been tested. And
of
about 15
course,
minutes later, my dad texted me and he said, "Hey, you have COVID-19." And I was like, "That's awesome. I'm going to head downstairs and I'll stay there." So yeah, it's been pretty easy for me. Not gonna, it's been pretty good actually. I basically chilled downstairs, which, as you can see, is pretty roomy. For about a week, I get my food delivered, so it's pretty bourgeoisie, you know. Ignore that train. And I'm just kind of,
Yeah, that's my bad.
yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it. So I've just been kind of chilling. I had like a sore throat that sucked, but I got some medicine for that. And I had a mild fever and some chills. But other than that, I think I was pretty asymptomatic for the most part.
What'd you say that medicine looked like again?
Oh,
Uh,
um,
just to
it,
inform the viewers.
yes. Oh, I don't have it with me. It didn't look like it in the bottle. In the bottle, it looks orange, but when you take it out, and especially when you're supposed to swish it and spit it. It's called Magic Mouthwash. And it basically what it does is it has lidocaine, so it'll just numb everything it touches. Like if it touches skin, it numbs it. So you're supposed to swish it and spit it, and when you spit it out, it looks exact. It has the exact color and texture of cum that has like exactly 3.5 droplets of red food coloring in it. It looks like pink cum. It looks like I swish and spit pink cum, but it does numb up my mouth real good. So who's really the gay one now? So that's where we're at.
I just want to point out for the record that spitters are in fact quitters, Isaiah.
Spitters are in fact quitters. I do not have a counter argument to that. I would have to say I am a quitter. When pink cum is involved, I am a quitter. I know that when pink cum is involved, you are not a quitter, but I think that's where our political views differ, and that's really where it all comes down to. And that's why we're such good friends. You know, we're opposites. Um,
Right, right.
yeah. And as such good friends, we don't spend that much time with girlfriends, right? So we just thought
Right.
it would be pretty cool if we could give relationship advice from two guys who have not really had great relationships in the past. Um,
No, if any at all.
yeah, it's been pretty let's just say we have not been able to sow
Barren.
our wild oats. Our is that it? Sow our wild oats?
Some shit like that. I'm not
You know that's
really
actually a
sure.
rite of passage in a it's an Amish rite of passage. That's what it is. And it's where Amish people will like stop being Amish and
Oh
they'll
yeah, 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 yeah. You
yeah,
told me about this. You told me
yeah,
about
they'll just stop like doing all this stuff that like Amish people do. They'll go out, go clubbing, have one night stands, and they'll like see what it's like to be like uh
I believe it's for a year, like a whole year. Like when you turn
yeah,
18, you get a whole year to just partake in. I don't know what the exact restrictions are, but you can go partying. You can
I don't
do
think there really
alcohol.
are.
I
Obviously,
don't think you
like
can.
killing people and stuff, you know, like breaking the law. I think it's like alcohol, like maybe
I
drugs.
don't think you
I don't
can. I
know.
don't think you can do drugs. I think I've heard that
No.
you can't do drugs.
Okay. Yeah, just like going crazy, you know, like a partying teen in the Hamptons. Um, but yeah. So would you like to start with relationship advice or should I start with the gas?
Um, I feel like out of both of us, you have more experience in the relationship field because I have been friend zoned more times than I thought about having sex. So, which is
I
really a
can
problem for
confirm
me.
as a teenage boy, that must be a lot. Um, so do you want me to start? That's all right.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I've been in two I, I I was in a semi-serious relationship, and I'm in now another semi-serious relationship, and it's quite interesting. The first one was awful. It was awful. What I could really okay to get serious here, to get real serious. Don't expect your significant other to be your all. I just feel like that's something that everybody gets caught up in. Like you kind of grow up to it, you know? Like in Disney shows, they're like, "Oh wow, my Aladdin came and now we're just happy forever." Don't expect that. Never expect that. You need to be willing to make both sacrifices and compromises to make sure that you both understand that like you're not always going to be happy all the time and you can't fulfill each other, if that makes sense. Uh,
Yeah, of course. And also, just to not provide a counterpoint to that, but just to add
yeah,
on to
no,
that,
yeah.
it, it's it's important. It is important to rely on each other. Like you
Yeah, no,
can't.
yeah.
There's no way you can have a stable relationship without relying on one another for love, for sexual needs, for emotional needs, for whatever. It's not really possible to have a stable relationship without that. And it's okay to view your significant other as your like, oh my gosh, they're my everything. Like
No,
it's
absolutely,
okay, it's
absolutely.
okay to view them with that like that. But to the point where you become so attached that you physically like start feeling side
Yeah,
effects and mentally start like things start going haywire, like then it becomes a
yeah,
problem. All people need, as much as people need love and affection, people need space. They need to be able to do things on their own. They can't be worried about someone 24/7. You
right,
need to be able
right.
to take care of yourself before you can take care of someone else.
I feel like that's pretty much what everybody in like middle school slash high school, and maybe even, I don't know about college, but definitely middle school and high school. Like you see people in middle school and high school just they get together with somebody and they post on Instagram or Snapchat or they're like, wow, this person is literally the love of my life. And then 2 weeks later, not even kidding, 2 weeks later, they break up or less. And some last a while, but like then they'll just break up over something stupid. And it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know exactly what to say for that. I would say,
I do. I do.
okay.
Don't Whenever you start in a relationship, of course it's exciting. It's You have this new person
It's
and
new.
you're
They're into you, you know? It's,
yeah, it's like, and that's a very new thing for being a teenager, especially like whenever you get to middle, like really, I personally think this too. Um, I honestly don't think relationships before high school really count
yeah, no,
because
that's
you're not
true.
because you're not really emotionally mature until you get to high school. And even when you get to high school, you're still learning things.
Right. No,
Having one
before
woman's
high
body,
school, yeah, before high school, you're like at most sitting at the same lunch table. You don't even like spend time outside of school together. It's like a status. It's not a
yeah, exactly.
relationship.
Exactly. I'll from there I'll diverge into my personal um, story about my relationships. So I'm I have not been in many relationships, and by that I mean I've been in literally one relationship um, that ended up lasting for 6 months, and then I got dumped. Um, which it's Me and her don't really talk that much anymore. We just kind of, not that we've had a falling out, we don't really connect that much anymore and haven't had a reason to talk because she's moved her way with her friends. I've moved my way. Um, I really, I've developed like from when I like to make a benchmark from when I started dating her to now. I have changed like my entire personality, except for the
Mm.
like core my hobbies. Like my entire personality has just transformed. But yeah, like whenever I had my relationship, it lasted for 6 months. And in that entirety of the 6 months, the most intimate thing I did with her was say I love you over text.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point though. Nowadays, okay, I want to paint a picture. Relationships before, I don't mean to get on a soapbox and be your grandpa and tell you what to do and stuff, but relationships before they had like cell phones and like instant ways to communicate were so much cleaner and purer. For instance, like the only time, or even just like early days of cell phones or like telegrams, you know, you could be like, hey, let's meet here. And they would spend time together. And it was like real, like bonding and like emotional connection. But now it's like every day you're going to go to school, see them sometimes at school, if you go to the same school, whatever, get home, and then you just text them for like a while. And it really just kind of like you're close to them in that way, but it's really not like the closeness that a human needs. It's not
It's not human contact.
exactly. It's you looking at your phone and seeing words that pop up of the per. it's
In
hard
a
to
lot of ways,
explain, but
it's just artificial in a lot of
exactly,
ways.
exactly. Because what
Like,
happens when, like, yeah, go ahead.
but yeah, basically with what you were saying, in a lot of ways, it's artificial. And I try to make it a moot point now. Like, I'm not in a relationship right now.
Right.
I do have a best friend though. I love her
Who's
with all my
female?
heart.
Right.
Yeah, best female friend. We're not dating, but we've set boundaries with each other, and we've understand where those boundaries are. So we are like closer than best friends usually are, but we're not like a thing. Um, but I digress. I have a best friend. I love her very much. She's my entire world. But I usually make it a moot point now. Like I'll text her like every other day, but I usually make it a moot point to whenever possible try to make it so that I can actually go and see her and hang out with her, because
Right.
I feel like, especially now, just to backtrack to the COVID stuff, especially now, we pretty much all of us have been like starved for attention since the whole shutdown of the country. And granted, that ended what, in August, September?
No idea. I have not been paying attention.
I haven't either. But it ended like 5 or 6 months ago. Um, so it has been a while, but still, it's at school you get to see people, but most schools nowadays you're social distance, you have masks on, you don't get to see their full face. So really the only opportunities you have to truly see someone is outside of school. And I try to make it, and me and her don't even go to the same school anymore, so I always try to make it a point to find a time to hang out, and then we'll hang out, and it's literally the best because it's not artificial, it's not through a phone. I actually get to see her, we actually get to go do stuff. It's just, it's great. And that can be transferred to any relationship really, but especially whenever you're dating someone, you need to make sure that you that you don't just keep it to a phone. That's why so many of these relationships go wrong. um is just sticking, just like texting, like, "Hey, babe, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm cool." All right, love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Like, and that's all that happens. And you meet up like once a week to fuck. Like
Exactly.
the
No, exactly. And then
that's like why I don't get into relationships now,
yeah.
because that just sounds horrible to me.
And that's not providing you the emotional support you need to have a real relationship. Like real relationships should be based firstly on emotional and like I guess spiritual connection. That sounds kind of like I'm a 50-year-old person who goes out and hugs trees, but like it should not be sexual carnal desire first. That should not be like the main reason that you are together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. Um, we will keep in mind that like sexual needs are a basic
right,
human
they
need,
are.
but also it's that whenever you form a relationship, the whole purpose of a relationship is to transcend sexual needs. Like that's the entire construct of a relationship. That you can see that in animals too. There are animals who participate in monogamy that will stay with one significant other to literally like to raise a family. It's beyond just sexual desire. It's for emotional support. It like for all of that. And whenever you get into relationships, you may not realize it, but what you're craving is that emotional support. And then it makes it even worse whenever people go to just get into it for the sex, because really that just shows a deeper part about them, that they're not getting that emotional support. They're
Right.
just they're just trying to fill the void with sex, and that's not helping. It just makes it worse.
Exactly. No. I just want to go back to phones for a second. I just remembered this thing. There was a study done, and it was actually found that couples who posted on social media were like significantly less happy with each other than couples who do not post on social media. And that's not,
Really.
yeah, it was kind of crazy. That's not like to rag on the people who post on social media. You can absolutely
Of
post your
course.
life on social media, and that's great. Like it's a way to show them that you care and that you're like still thinking about them. But when you just consistently do it and you do that instead of like you're like, hey babe, come here, let's take a picture, and then while she's right next to you, you're like, making a hashtag and like writing the description of your post, and it kind of ruins those actual moments, because then it kind of like shares to the world the time that you and her went to the beach, and it's not really like you guys went to the beach, it's more like everybody and her went to the beach, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. It takes away the uniqueness and the specialness of the occasion.
Yeah, like it makes it less intimate. It's like, let me just share this with everyone real quick, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's opening it up. It's opening up your personal life to the public, which is really what social media is. But there are some aspects of personal life that shouldn't be shared. And whenever you do stuff like that, it's just outing that to the public, and it makes people
Right,
uncomfortable.
right. Um, so just to go back to to relationships for a second, do we have anything else
Um,
to talk about?
let's talk about your relationship experience,
Oh boy. All right.
both past and present.
Sure. Okay. I had a semi-serious relationship, and I say semi-serious because it was both like 2 years, but it was also middle school, right? And we did hang
Right.
out outside of middle school, and you guys would say it was like at least sort of a real relationship. Like you guys were around us, and we like spent a lot of time together. At some point, it kind of just digressed into like, hey, what's up? Not much, just chilling. See you later. And that was like what we would text, and then we wouldn't like really spend time outside of class. And it was less actually providing like support and helping each other through stuff. And it was more like, hey, so we're not going to break this off because this is like a status thing now, right? Because like everybody kind of saw us. I don't mean to be that guy, but like people kind of saw us as like a really cute couple. And I think at some point we kind of realized that we just didn't really work together, but we kept it going because you know it's a status symbol, and it shows that like I'm happier than you are. And I mean that's really that's a really unhealthy reason to be in a relationship. My second one is the present one is going great. um I don't really know what to talk about. It's been about 2.5 months. uh Doing good, just chilling. The thing you can't expect from high school relationships is one that they'll be there for your entire life. Like I don't know, so a lot of people do stay in their hometowns and maybe they get married to their sweethearts. I know from where I went to school, which was actually a private Christian school. It kind of sucked though. Um, the vice principal there actually married his middle school sweetheart. So that does happen, and like sometimes people will get married when they've been dating from middle school or high school. But also, you have to expect the challenges that life throws for you in the future, and you can't expect them to go along with your challenges and your obstacles that you have in your life without expecting them to have some. I think a really good example for this one is how, oh, I hate to say this, it's how women will have like careers and then they kind of just throw them under the bus for men, because women are kind of just expected to be, the housekeepers and the children carers. And I don't mean to get political with this, but it's really kind of a sucky thing that at this point in society, the norm is that a man will just pay for it, because it goes both ways. Men kind of have to like bring in the bacon, and women just have to like take care of the children, right? right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of deviation. And when there is some, it's kind of accepted, but people don't really care. It's like we think we've gone past it, but we really haven't. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. That was kind of a weird tangent. Um, yeah. Let's head back to let's just talk about school, you know?
School, sure.
All right. Um, so school with COVID was interesting. We to start off the year, how did it start? Were there any like significant changes?
Oh yeah, I mean like the way school worked.
Yeah. I think the very first like really school related thing that we had, they sent out a survey and it was like, hey, do you have like stable internet connection? Do you have, do you want to do like online school? Do you want to come to school? Do you want to do half online, half to school? Um, and I
Well,
personally said I
I
would
think
rather do
really
school
we should start from
from when
the
we,
last school year,
okay,
like
yeah. Um,
because that's really when it all started.
so I don't know, do you want to take the wheel?
Yeah,
Go
I'll
for it.
take the wheel on this one. So basically, from what I remember, um, it was March 12th, the day before spring break. Um, what had happened was, for me, I wasn't in school that day. I was out on an orchestra tour. We were touring the local schools, and we were um, playing songs for them. Um, which I have a story about that I'll say for another podcast. Um, but we were touring around, and I remember there was just this talk, and there was like, there's a survey about people were talking about. There's a survey out about like, do you have internet at home, and can you like something about a laptop or something like that. And some people were saying, well, they're getting new laptops next year, and each student is
Hmm.
going to get their own laptop. And there were other things where it was like, oh, they're considering sending people home like after spring break. Um, a lot of things just floating around, and basically there was um, like spring break once that day ended. Like and spring break started, that was the last day of school for the year. For us, that was the last day, and I'm sure a lot of other people, it was the same thing. There was a lot of things where spring break was the start of the COVID lockdown. Like everybody was being let out of school early, and people were ordered to stay home. So really, that's kind of when this all started, is back in March, and everything got shut down. Um, Fast forward to November or September, um, the new school year starts. Um, Immediate thing that I notice whenever I get there is a line going around the block of our
Oh my
school.
gosh, yes. Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
bad. There was a line of people going around the entire block of our school, and our school isn't that big of a high school. It's
Mm-mm.
got like what, 400
I
people
think it's
in it?
500. I think 500 kids, probably like 550 staff included.
Whereas like city high schools are like around 1,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a very big high school. Keep in mind, for viewers that don't know, we live in a relatively small town with only like
Eight or
a
nine
population
thousand.
of like 8,000 to 11,000
Yeah.
people. Um, so we live in a relatively small town. So we have a small school, and around the entire block of the school, there was just a line of people, and I had to stand in the line. And I remember just thinking, like, is this what the entire year is going to be like? And so everybody got in, and by the time everybody got in, it was like 20 minutes past when school started.
Yeah. And people were
Like
still coming in. Like,
everybody was
yeah.
late.
Um,
Yeah, and like I don't know if you were late. I think you were on time.
I think I was just past when the bell rang. They didn't give us tardies though, thankfully. That would have been a bit ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
I think what was really funny was them expecting us to like actually stay 6 feet apart. Because I know like you're supposed to, but you can't expect a bunch of like high school kids who haven't had human contact in 5 months to just like go from zero what? Yeah, what's up?
Regardless of that, the hallways are just too packed to
Yeah,
make that something like
exactly,
this possible.
exactly.
Like it's just like, and the same thing as you said is like they're teenagers that haven't seen each other in 6 months. It was a 6 month summer,
Yeah,
um, and like it's just not possible to keep that. And they're still like I'm doing remote learning now. I started the school year in person, and now I'm doing remote learning. Um, but like there's just, I hate to get political again, but there's just a bunch of people, especially people who are supporting a certain former president.
former
Um,
president.
former president is a former president. I
No
want to
longer
make that
president. You don't
clear.
have to wear the hat.
You don't have to wear the hat. I'm not gonna name names, but I just want to.
Yeah,
This
nobody
is a
knows who
little.
we're talking about right now. Nobody knows whose MAGA hat or mask. Nobody knows.
Oh, it gets worse than that. There's a kid that I know. So like, I don't know if this is everywhere. I assume it's in a lot of probably major cities. But in high school, when you become a sophomore, you get the opportunity to get a class ring.
Oh yeah.
Um, I got mine. But there was this one
Please,
kid that I know
no, 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 no.
that on his class ring, he got custom
No.
engraved Trump 2020.
Oh. You know how much those cost? I didn't get one. I didn't get one. How much
Mine,
is yours?
mine costed around $450.
Oh my. He spent 400, probably more because engraving, right?
Well,
In,
mine is engraved too.
how much is engraved on yours? Do you know?
It's engraved once
Letters.
on the side, another on the side, and then on the inside of the ring, like my full
Okay, it
length.
probably has quite a bit of but still, like, I'm
But
sure.
no, but his was one of the ones. I don't know if we're presenting a good visual, but this was one of the ones that they advertised like on the front page with like all the symbols on it and all
Oh
like
yeah.
you can write a big message on it. It has the big gem and like the big stainless like sterling silver ring.
Yeah.
Um, but like all that, and he just right on the side, Trump
No.
2020.
I did not know that. Oh boy. Well,
But I digress. I digress. Um, but back to the issue at hand. There are a lot of people that are around school that just are either taking the mask down their nose or just like putting the masks on their chin, and it's like
oh my
I
God.
get they're I get they're uncomfortable, but
Did
like
you get did you take the PSAT with me, right? Did you take
yes,
that? Okay.
yes, I took the BSAT.
I'm not sure what he actually does. But the man that like the staff person, the staff advisor who was giving us the test, who would tell us, he said,
Mr. Altic.
I wasn't gonna name his name, but yeah. Whoops. Mr. Altic, this one's for you. He would tell us that if we ever got like stuffy in our masks, we could pull them up and breathe through the bottom. And the problem with that is that it's basically like you're not wearing a mask. Like I'm sure there is like a decrease in pathogens that you breathe in, but if you're just like opening up just a pocket of air, you're really not wearing a mask. And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
He told this to like 80 students all taking a test, and he says, if you're getting like stuffy, just take a quick mask break. Uh,
I mean, I'm sure he didn't mean any harm.
no, absolutely not. I'm sure this wasn't a diabolical plan that was gonna shut down this.
Or political agenda or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But the problem is we don't really like say how effective masks actually are. And there's a wide variety of masks that have different effectiveness. Like we don't know the exact percentage. We don't know like what percent of people would be affected if they were all like, I don't know, 6 feet away from somebody with a different mask on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the different, some masks legitimately like make it so that you're breathing in like a very, very, very well insulated, like one spot. And some of them are like a very thin layer of cloth. And it just doesn't help. I don't know how I'm trying to explain this well, but I can tell that I'm really not. The school gave all the sports teams, I think they're called gaiters, where they kind of like they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like
Yep.
an extension for a turtleneck. And
Yeah, it's kind of like if anybody doesn't know, if you have they're like
it's kind of like you took a
basically
bandana and you just like
cylinders
made
of
a
cloth.
tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a long tube of cloth. So you like put it around your neck and you pull it up. The problem is all of the ones that the school gave us were one very thin piece of cloth. Like you
That's how they all are. That's how
are
they
they all
all
like
are.
that? I
Yeah.
wasn't making like any like assumptions, but yeah, you could like tell, you could see like the fibers of my lips through them, and it just doesn't help. And I get that like they're for sports, and we're supposed to be doing those when we're like practicing, and that might help a little bit. But like kids would wear them in school, and I think that's when it became an issue.
Yeah, I feel just on another side note here, I feel like
Yeah,
anybody who wears those, especially people who wear the American flag ones, 100% racists. But go on.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, wow, I'm just thinking about. I'm just thinking about politics right now. Like our election was kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. Our election was crazy for multiple reasons, but I
A
think
lot of
one of
reasons.
one of the main reasons was the voter turnout this year was insane.
Yeah, yeah. I guess a lot of people were like upset about like a pandemic or something. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't really know what they were talking about. Um,
Yeah.
on my ballot, it said choose own, and I don't know. I didn't see an own on the ballot, so
I
I
just
don't.
wrote in Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought
Right.
that's yeah.
I feel he would bring balance to the force. I feel like
Obi Obi-Wan Kenobi would bring balance to the Force. I think he could just like kind of like not necessarily like force it out, but he could like force choke it out. And I know that's like dark side, but you got to do what you got to do to save your country.
I, f- I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi is a bit unrealistic though.
I don't think so. I think he's exactly what we need.
I get where you're coming from, but I think it's a bit unrealistic. I think who we need to write in is Ewan McGregor.
Uh, I don't really like that guy. He's kind of ugly. Like,
Yeah,
also, he's British, and
but Trump has a neck pussy, and this country decided they wanted him for 4 years. So
I can't. I screw it. Time to get political. I cannot believe he outvoted that. I didn't. Okay, I didn't just thought I can upset everybody equally. I didn't really want Trump or Hillary. They both kind of sucked.
oh yeah, it was a losing battle that year.
It yeah, it really was. Anybody who is willing to say I could walk onto like I forget the exact quote, but Trump said he could walk onto the most crowded street in New York City, shoot somebody, and his supporters would say nothing. Do you remember that?
I don't, but it
It's not
sounds
the
like
exact
something.
quote. I think it was something more like I could walk onto 7th Street of New York City, shoot somebody, and my supporters would say nothing. Somebody like that should never have power, right? Somebody who knows
No,
that people
like
will blindly follow him and he's willing to exploit it. Oof, and his policies.
it's no, what it is, it's literally fascism. He's literally
Yeah.
just a fascist.
Oh, man. I have some would you like to hear what we should do to save elections? This is
Sure.
what I come up with. All right, all right. So first, you hit him with we're gonna get rid of political parties because political parties are so dumb. You know that?
There,
They
yeah.
are so dumb.
Our
Hey,
forefathers literally said don't make political parties. It will divide
George
the country.
Washington legitimately said the spirit of the party will ruin like the nation. And the very next election, they were like, "Hey, what if we made political parties though?" And they did. They have one benefit, and that is that they fund their campaigns. But that's dumb. They do not need to travel the entire US. You know how much the election campaign costs, both Biden and Trump's this year?
Oh, probably billions of dollars.
I think it might have been over a trillion. I think it was just over a trillion. I would
Jesus.
fact check that and put it in this description if that's wrong, but it was a ridiculous amount. But political parties as a whole are just so stupid if you think about it. Because
I feel like campaigning is just really bad because I feel like the whole election system is bad because it's just who's the better speaker. It's not.
that and people sorry, my sister texted me. She probably thinks I'm being loud. Um, okay, sorry about that. Okay, the whole point of political parties is that somebody doesn't even have to listen to the candidate. I feel like that's the whole point. The whole point is they hear a couple of policies that they're behind and they're going to say, I will vote for that person. Voting in the earlier days and they're outdated. They're completely outdated. It used to be like that, right? Most people who voted like beginning of the USA, right? They voted one party or another. They didn't even like vote for a person. But now we have easily the technology to vote for like people based on people. We should really be voting on people based on integrity and like sensibleness instead of they might do some of my bidding. Because
Yeah.
there's no way when somebody is, for instance, a Democrat, that they will follow every Democrat policy and that they would really be happy if all of those policies were enacted. And you really can't be happy voting a political party. You're not voting a person into office. You're voting a political party into office because the person is just going to do whatever the party tells them to. Um, so that's the first step to fixing the election. The second step is ranked voting. And basically, what that means is just that you would be like, hey, I want this guy first. If this guy isn't good enough, each person would get like a point system. For instance, you'd be like, I want this guy to have 10 of my election points, this guy to have 5, and this guy to have 3, and this guy to have 1, right? And that's just to bring more power to like third parties, which are severely underrepresented. Um, I feel like that's the biggest issue is whoever gets whoever gets supported or enforced, what's the word? Um, Whoever gets endorsed by a political party has already guaranteed at least 40% of all eligible voters simply because they're wearing a blue tie or a red tie, right?
Right.
That's just such a big problem that we have.
I
Uh,
just I just want to say a little psychology tidbit here.
yeah,
Um, I don't know where I heard it, but there was some psychology class that one of my relatives went to, and they said the professor said that whenever politicians want to win office or gather the support of their people, they wear a red tie, white shirt, black suit. And it was around the time of the election with Bush. I don't know which
right.
one. Um, but he said it was the night before a debate, and it was like, look out for red tie, white shirt, black suit, United States flag pinned a cherry on top. The next day, Bush and Kerry both looked like they were rolled out of an assembly line. Red tie, white shirt, black suit, flag pin.
Hmm.
It's a psychological trick. So don't listen to people. Don't Anarchy is what we need.
Yeah, we should. I've been watching the fourth season of Legend of Korra, and sorry, third season. It's actually the third season, And we should really just do away with like political rulers. Trump, no, Trump's not in office. Biden, we're coming for you. Yes, that was a threat. I fully expect Secret Service to be at my house tomorrow at noon. I will have lunch ready for you. I hope you like grilled cheese sandwiches. But I really think it's really interesting. There's no point in having countries, if you think about it. Imagine what we could do if we just like stopped. I know this might sound like, I don't know, like conformist or maybe communist or I don't know, socialist. They're all kind of similar to this. If you kind of just like, if we pooled our knowledge, our resources, our wealth, I don't think that we could solve stuff like world hunger, but I think we could definitely like decrease it. Because in America, we are fat people who eat cheeseburgers and fries and steak and get fat and we throw half of it away, right? We can,
Yeah.
and we could definitely help a lot of people if we actually made a real effort and made a real effort to like be an example, set an example for other countries to follow. I feel like that's the biggest problem with the USA today is we kind of feel like we're the center of the world, right?
Yeah.
We're like, hey, everybody looks at us for everything, but we never do anything that makes it noteworthy. We're just like, hey, we do stuff, I guess. We're pretty cool. And then we flash them our nukes and we're like, we're pretty cool, I guess.
A
But
lot of things wrong with this country.
a lot. You know what's crazy?
Mm.
Just to go back to a political standpoints and some religious standpoints. Somebody told me, this was a high school person, told me that Trump was the only Christian, was Trump is the only person you can vote for as a Christian. They basically thought of him as the second coming of Jesus. And I don't know where they got that. And I really,
Biden is Catholic.
I know. And Trump says he's Christian. You know that, right? He says he's Christian.
Yeah. Trump, I do not believe a single word Trump has ever said. He literally, the only thing he does is he literally just says whatever will put him in power.
Pretty much.
He says whatever he can to make people on his side. There's literally an interview back in the 90s about him talking about running for political office, saying that he would run Republican because he believes that Republicans are the dumbest voters and they would believe anything he said.
Wow.
So it would make the easiest for him to run for office.
And he's like, no, no, no. I just said that so that the Democrats wouldn't vote for me. So that I could only have
Fake news. Fake news.
fake
It's
news.
fake news.
Yeah, I can't believe the politics of this world. You know?
I can't believe the politics of America. We need to. I've been
I
watching.
thought you were Nazi saluting. I thought
No.
Whoops.
No. Fuck Hitler. Fuck.
Yeah, we don't like you, Hitler. You can go to hell.
We do not stand Hitler here. I've been watching Attack on Titan recently, the 4th season, and I think we just need to go to fighting wars with Titans. I think
That's smart, actually. You know, if a country genetically engineered Titans and all the other countries united against them, who really wins?
especially with the 9 Titan shifters. Like
Exactly. Okay, so what do we have? We have the founding Titan,
there's the founding Titan, there's the Attack Titan,
the attack Titan, the jaw
the female
Titan,
Titan.
the female Titan. I said jaw.
The female Titan, the Jaw Titan, yes. The Cart Titan,
Armored Titan,
Armored Titan, Beast Titan,
right?
Colossal Titan,
So, yeah.
and then what's the Warhammer Titan?
Yeah. Um, America will take the Warhammer Titan. The other countries can have the
No,
rest.
but hear me out. Hear me out.
Hmm.
America would take the Colossal Titan because one, everything needs to be bigger in America, and
Smart.
two, the Colossal Titan is a living nuclear bomb.
Wow. That is, wow. Have you thought of that? Have you been thinking of this?
I have been
I think
thinking
you
about
put
it.
serious effort into that, and I'm impressed. That was pretty clean. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I take it back. Who gets Warhammer?
Warhammer,
You know what? Britain can have them. They have bad teeth.
Britain can have Warhammer.
The mouth of the Warhammer Titan is kind of gross.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's
Um,
a British jab. I'm saying your teeth are gross.
and of course, Africa can get the Beast Titan.
Or, oops. Yep. Oops.
I'm not a
Uh,
racist, I swear.
yeah. Um.
No, 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 no. Uh, Britain can get the Jaw Titan.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, I'm dumb. Yeah. They have a little. Okay. Um.
Mexico can get the Cart Titan because they need to export drugs.
Oh, yeah. Because
Um,
cartels. You know.
yeah, of course, of course. Um,
I feel like Canada would take the founding Titan and just try to unite everybody. You know. Right.
yeah, or
Yeah.
China would get the Warhammer or the Founding Titan
Okay.
because China would be able to control everybody because they want to do that.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. Um. I feel like if Warhammer, I feel like the Warhammer's kind of got to go to Australia then, right?
Because it's a fucking crackhead.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Aussies are crazy, dude.
I feel like Canada has to get the female Titan because they're a bunch of bitches.
Yeah,
Um,
we don't like you, Canada.
fuck Canada. Fuck Canadians. Yeah, we dissed you. What are you gonna do about it? Um,
Play hockey at us.
I don't know. Hockey is fucking. Have you seen injuries in
Hockey is
hockey?
kind of crazy. It's I really
Like,
wonder how they tell what's a foul and what's not, because to me it looks like they're constantly fouling. So,
it's a foul whenever they're dead. That's the
sorry,
foul.
that's just a it all looks like a foul from a soccer player's perspective.
Wow.
Yeah, I just roasted my own sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Anyways,
How did we get to
I
Canada from COVID?
I don't know. I think we talked about a couple of things. Anyways, this is kind of gonna wrap it up. We're thinking
One
of
more thing
yeah,
before we
yeah,
uh, potential guests. This
right.
wouldn't be a
Potential guests.
podcast without guests.
This was just kind of
So
the starter episode, so you get to know us. Know
know kind of how we think.
yeah.
Um, we're going to be bringing on a couple of our people from school, and this is just a preliminary list. So not all these people are guaranteed. And with that said, as well, this list is not finite. If you want to contact us, and we can see about you joining the podcast for an episode, just to speak your mind on whatever topics you would want to speak on. Right now, we're
Any
doing
good
it
stories?
virtually.
Right.
Yeah, of course, of course. Right now, we're doing it virtually, so there shouldn't be any restrictions to who can do it. Hopefully, in the future, once all of Isaiah's COVID stuff clears up, we'll be able to do it in person,
Hmm.
and hopefully, we'll be able to get better. We'll be able to get better equipment.
Audio, yeah, audio and visual. I apologize in actually, what's the word? What if it's not in advance? What is it? I apologize.
In retrospect,
It sounds good to me. I apologize in retrospect to everybody who had to listen to this podcast, and it's pretty sucky audio. Also,
Yeah, we're just doing
visuals.
this over Zoom.
Yeah, so this is just kind of a starter thing, you know. We'll get better stuff, and we'll be more conversational and have friendlier topics. This was just kind of
And
a test run sort of thing, and we're just getting used to it.
yeah, and unless we get sponsored by Zoom in the first few episodes, I think there is a possibility in the future that we're going to be switching to Discord because I think
Probably.
things are probably better on Discord. It's a lot more accommodating for stuff like this.
Yeah.
But on to the list of people. First up is our boys from school, our main guys, Sam Deloney and Trent Toth. We're going to be having those guys on, possibly individually, possibly together. They'll probably be recurring guests.
Yeah. They're
They
gonna
won't be
definitely want
on
to come on a
all the
couple of
time.
times.
Yeah, they'll be on a couple times, and we'll probably have them on together at least once in the future. We'll have Isaiah's girlfriend Lillian. We'll have her on. And on that
I'm
episode,
sure we will.
I'll be the host of the episode to be the mediator.
Of course.
Um,
The mediator as we fight, and you guys get to listen.
of course. So I'll be the mediator there. We'll have Kinsley on, Kinsley Davis. She's always a delight to have around.
She's a hoot.
She is a hoot indeed. We were thinking about having the one and only, the infamous and famous Cool Dude 38, also known as
Oh,
Isaiah.
whoa! Don't you spoil that. They'll find out
I,
when it's time. His name is Cool Dude 38, and if you find him, let him know it was from us. But we'll definitely have him on sometime because he's got some stories.
he's got some stories, and we'll talk to him about his rise to fame and where he is now.
Yeah, as a very famous celebrity, I'm sure if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't recognize him. And when you looked him up, you still wouldn't recognize him. But he's very famous, I am sure.
He's famous in our hearts.
Exactly.
Thinking about the possibility of having my dad on.
Absolutely.
My dad is a very worldly person. He's a very funny person. I'm sure he would be great to have on the show just to talk about. That'll be more of like an informational episode, kind of like this one. This one was kind of
This one was pretty like, it was
just kind of
cheap,
talking.
you know? Yeah. But
that's some funny stuff. But it'll be kind of another talking episode, just learning more about the world. Another potential guest we'll have on is my dear best friend Beret. I'm sure she'd be fun to have on, and I'm sure she'd love to come on.
mm-hmm.
But also, we could have another person we've been potentially thinking about is Elijah Self, Isaiah's brother, to explain why.
A music producer who is
music producer.
100 listens, so pretty big.
He's on Spotify.
Like a Lou, if you want to
like go stream. What is it? Comfy Together? Is that the name of the album?
I think Comfy Together. That's definitely one of the songs. I think that's the name of the album.
Yeah. So go stream his album. Go stream all his songs. Musicians on Spotify are horribly underpaid, so the more
they
streams,
really
the better.
Are. They really are. Spotify is one of the worst. Elijah doesn't make any money yet, but he knows that Spotify pays the worst of all of like the streaming places.
And we'll probably have him on to talk about that, being a music producer, and why he's better at Isaiah than in soccer.
That one, appreciate that. They definitely needed to know that one.
So we'll see about that. And of course, whenever we hit an episode milestone, I think we will have a roast of either people around school or invite someone onto the podcast, invite a couple people on.
Under the pretenses that they're guests, and then we'll actually just roast the hell out of them while they sit there.
Of course. And even if people see this, they won't know until they get on the podcast.
Exactly.
So that'll be fun.
See this, and they'll be like, I cannot believe that I will not be one of the ones that they're roasting. We might have to like record episodes, maybe 1 or 2 in advance, so that they're not like, wait, this is episode 69. Are you sure nothing kinky is gonna happen? So we might have to record a couple episodes in advance. But
yeah, but that's what we have on our list right now for guests. Yep. Me and Isaiah will be your hosts throughout this entire wild journey. So expect to see our beautiful faces
all the time.
We're hoping
constantly.
We're hoping for every week at least.
Every week, maybe like 6 a month is my hope. It's like just like 1.5 per week. That'd be ideal.
Yeah, let's do half a podcast per week.
Yep. So yeah, half a podcast per week. You know what?
Yeah,
let's just break this into minutes, right? How much podcast they get every minute of. I'm just kidding. Let's wrap it
up. So we're actually going to be streaming this on Twitch. Tier 1 subs get to listen. Tier 2 subs get to watch.
Oh, speaking of which, sorry, I need to go grab some water.
Isaiah's being a thought again.
Oh. So donations would be appreciated.
And tier 3 subs, if you become a tier 3 sub, we'll both each personally send you a Ziploc sandwich bag of our pubes.
Yes.
So
we cannot guarantee that they will be full. We're expecting maybe 2 tier 3 subs, and that's a lot of pubes.
One of them being Isaiah's girlfriend.
Yep, that is correct. As a matter of fact, you have to pick it out, and if you get it right, you get to come on the show. Anyway,
you get to come on.
Let's
more ways than one. More ways than one.
Thanks for listening, guys. This has been a real fun. It's a
great journey ahead for us.
Yep. This has been Cuck Patrol, Cuck number 1 signing out.
Cuck number 2 signing off.